Well, thank you very much for the report, much appreciated. With regards to the TSA violations, speeding in particular through our school zones, are we getting more compliance from what you see? I know you're writing tickets, and we went for years without having any written in our school zones, but are you able to gain compliance, and be it through warnings or actual tickets?
Yeah, I think things are looking really well in the school zones. There hasn't been a high number of tickets, not even like, per capita or percentage based. What we're finding is there's a number of issues at the school, whether it's where parents are choosing to drop off, where they decide to do the U-turn, the fact they pick up their phone and start, texting away after they've dropped off their kids instead of waiting at least to get around the corner, things like that is where it combines. Speed's an easy target. What we are doing in the next little while, just to tip the hat, is you are going to have access to our speed display signs that we're going to come out with, especially with Landing Trail School. It's really set up well to install one of those out there, where we can start gathering some real data, right? And that data will help us kind of make that determination of what's happening. Sometimes speed is very perceived to be quick, and then when you actually put the numbers out there, you'll find out that it's not, or vice versa, right? So I like to use data to really figure out what's going on. So it'll be, I think it'll be really curious to see what comes out of that, and we'll see where I go. Now that the weather allows us to put batteries out overnight without freezing, we'll get on top of that.
And with regards to data, you said you have issues at times. You get calls, time you get here, of course it's over and gone. Are you seeing repeated calls to areas that you're going to be able to at some point in time maybe do some specified duties there?
Yeah, that's always, like I said, that's where the enforcement nerd in me really shines, right? Is I like to take a look at that data to find out what's going on. And the data that's presented here isn't the only data I have at my fingertips, right? Location, addresses, neighborhoods, zones, as we call it, because we've broken Gibbons down into zones that we can track to see where those are. And then, times of day, types of calls, how they're called in, all come, right? And we can take a look to see how we can best do it. Something as simple as if we're getting the majority of these calls coming in online, well, then let's make it easier. Right, let's get that system automated to come straight to and make things happen. Right, so there's ways we can do it. If we're seeing a pocket of complaints coming in one area, we definitely address it. And something as simple as I think off-highway vehicles became an issue when the weather the way it was. Right, you can generally figure those ones out. They're coming generally from certain areas, usually fringes of the community, and we can get in there and tackle those things. Right, so data is very important, and it definitely helps us make those decisions just to stay more efficient, right? Just to stay on top of things.
Anything else, Council? Thank you again. We look forward to seeing you, Will. Thank you to your people. They're always nice and friendly when they're through the office, and it's good to see them in the days and in the evenings, especially as we're going to get warmer and we're going to have more people out and about.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for the time, and with that, I will excuse myself. We'll be in touch, and if you don't see my pretty face, you'll see somebody else's before we're done.
Can I get a motion to accept this information? Dale. Jay already talked. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You as well, thank you. 9.1, live streaming update. Miss?
Mayor, members of the council, is that we're one component away from being able to go live stream, and that's just the mic system out from Chris's system. And once we have that, then we'll be able to project online. So we're just waiting for that part to be in and then installed, and then we should get to go.
Right. 9.2, reserve account.
Excuse me, Your Honor, can I get a motion to accept
sorry.
information?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Lorraine. All in favor? Carried. 9.2, reserve account.
Yep, just following up, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, just following up on the question that I had for administration on the meeting of the 28th, what our reserve account sit at, please.
Mayor, members of the council, is unfortunately that Monique is not able to be here tonight. She's actually was at the Stollery because her grandson was flew into the Stollery at 12 hours of birth, and so they're going through a procedure there, and so she's there tonight. But we'll have a report provided to council via email as soon as she's available. We'll have that to council.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to accept as information.
Thank you. All in favor? 9.3, cottage project.
Yes, thank you again. On the 14th of February meeting, we had discussed the cottage project and particulars surrounding it. I have a question pertaining to pecuniary interest. As I know that there had been some discussion over the last couple of years with a number of council members of purchasing or reserving one of the lots in the cottage project. Considering section 170 of the MGA indicates that pecuniary interest is something that could monetarily affect the councillor or immediate family. I believe that as well, pardon me, I went through our council the orientation binder that we received, which we also get documentation regarding pecuniary interest, and it includes a declaration for councillors to complete and declare whether or not they have any pecuniary interest. I think that given the conversation on the 14th of February, I would like to request that councillors go down the line and declare what their status is pertaining to the cottage project.
Well,
I can.
clarify whether
Certainly.
someone's buying one, investing in one.
I will again draw your attention to the information in our counselor orientation book on page 6. Probably don't have it in front of you, but you have it at your disposal. An example of how a counselor would declare pecuniary interest. I am abstaining from this matter because I own the property affected. I ask for an abstention. So if any member of council has reserved a spot, any member of their immediate family, or not, that's fine. I believe that it would be prudent to have that declaration made publicly.
Mayor Dick, members of council, and Councillor Harris, one of the key things with this is obviously each member of council can declare and state their own position. One of the key things in relation to projects that are open and available to all members of the public, such as buying houses or otherwise, but knowing that this is actually anything to date has actually just been a deposit. It hasn't been a firm.
Mr. O'Malley, no,
But
your
if
administration.
if I may, is in relation to that, obviously let council go through, but at any point is that I can certainly take it to our lawyer to get a legal opinion about that and what the position in this particular case would be.
I would just like to remind council members that the consequences for not declaring pecuniary interest is possible disqualification from your positions. So
I have no issue in disclosing for myself. I have no interest in or have any lot reserved, as I bought my house 4 years and I'm still working on it. I'll be staying there for a long, long time.
I appreciate that.
I'll speak to it. I put my deposit in for I and my wife. Now, my wife has died, and I consider you to be inconsiderate, thoughtless, and painful in this particular case, and I hope that you are able to deal with it in a way that's acceptable.
So you do have pecuniary interest,
No, it's in her name.
but it's immediate family, Councillor Sandell.
It's in her name. Okay, I'll change it to somebody else's name, but I can't buy a house in town? Is that what you're saying? No, tell me, I can't buy a house in town. Well, no, I need an answer from you.
Mr. O'Malley, would you like to clarify that?
Mayor Dick, members of council, Councillor Harris, what I can do is get a legal opinion on this particular situation, because the properties are available and open to all members of the community to buy, even those outside of our community. And they have been advertised that way, just like anything else that's out there. is all members of council can buy a property in the community, regardless if the town is selling the lot or otherwise. But what I will do, and my recommendation to council would be, is to direct administration to get a legal opinion in this particular matter, and to bring it back to council at their next meeting.
Mr. O'Malley, you might want to look at the.
Any other councillors wish to state whether they have?
I'd like to make,
Before your motion, I'd like to ask council's indulgence. Anyone else want to speak to whether they are purchasing or thinking of purchasing a project in the cottages?
I'll say it. I'm not. I have a baby. I'm not going to be able to. I'm stuck in a house that I've been in for the last 15 years and probably going to be there for another 15 years.
Dale?
I have no interest in cottages.
okay, since others are expressing theirs, I have none.
Both?
I have none.
Thank you.
Thank you. You were gonna make a motion,
I was
Councilor.
gonna make a motion that council direct our CAO to get a legal opinion on this and bring it back to us.
thank you.
Um,
All in favor?
I'd like a recorded vote, please. And
All right.
the MGA is what,
All in favor?
this is,
All opposed?
oh my gosh.
10.1.
Mayor, Dick, members of council, is administration is requesting that council set a special meeting for March 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. council chambers to deal specifically with the four matters: the Heartland Commons large infrastructure project approval, bylaw ALT 4-24 local improvement bylaw, Heartland Commons large infrastructure, bylaw ALT 5-24 local improvement boring bylaw, Heartland's common large infrastructure, and then a letter to Minister of Municipal Affairs, Rick McIver. This is actually to put in the infrastructure for the large services in relate that will help to keep the project moving forward so that the services can be provided from the east all the way down and across to the south, and or to the east, from the west, pardon me, all the way down south and over to the east to service the southlands. So with that is the administration is asking council to set a special meeting for the 20th of March as per my recommendation.
Lori?
Do you have a particular day that you have chosen as a result of everyone's response to availability?
Mayor Dick, members of council, is just have on our request is for the 20th of March, which is next Wednesday night.
Deal.
Although I can make myself available that night, I'm curious if we could conceivably move it to the following day on the 21st.
Administration can certainly move it to the 21st. It's up to council if it so chooses. Chris.
Sorry, council, but March the 21st, Roseridge Landfill is in here for their meeting, and they've already moved their meeting.
I'm okay with not changing it.
Can I get a motion? Can I get a motion from the floor? Dale?
I'll make a motion to have a special meeting booked for March 20th at 7 p.m. in council chambers to deal with the four items listed.
I have a question.
Amber?
If we set this meeting for March 20th, when will we put out the information to the community?
The information, Mayor Deck, members of council, the goal is to have the information out probably by first thing Monday morning. So that way it's you've got 3 full days, pretty well, or 2.5 days available to the public.
Sure, thank you.
All in favor? Carried. 11.1 bylaw ALT 7-24 short-term boring bylaw, third reading.
I'll move third reading of ALT 7-24 short-term borrowing bylaw.
I do have a question.
Amber?
This was the one that was, the two that were discussed last, meeting as, from what I understand. And I had a question regarding which, bylaw this was replacing, because that's what I understand is happening, correct? We are not establishing a new line of credit, we are renewing.
Yes, we are, Councillor Harris.
Okay, did, administration happen to find which one we're replacing?
Is right offhand is I don't have it handy, I believe, but initially when this was presented, I believe wasn't the old one attached to that package?
No, that, I don't believe so, that's why I had
Okay,
a question.
Yeah.
And, well, I believe I found it on March 8th. And the concern that I have is, from my recollection, the bylaw itself is actually written differently. In the one that administration had pointed me in the direction of, in that bylaw, it actually at the bottom of it, it says that we are repealing and replacing with. Madam Secretary, it's March 8th, 2023 meeting. If, I don't have it in front of me, but.
Just give me a second.
if I could, Mayor Dick and members of council, actually, it's a very solid case in point. Actually, it should have a line statement in there that it is repealing the previous bylaw. But this is actually replacing that bylaw.
Okay, well, having said that, considering these two bylaws that are up for third reading right now, it's my suggestion that before we have pulled those three readings, the amendment that I would like to see is the information pertaining to the old bylaw that we're replacing. If we're replacing, in fact, if we're repealing and replacing, right, renewing?
It's my understanding that's what we are just replacing with that bylaw with this bylaw. The only difference that should be there is actually the addition of the line for repealing in the previous bylaw number. But the fact is, in fact, it really doesn't need to because it actually expires and it has an expiry date on it.
That's what I was going to say. Both of those bylaws have an expiry date on them. So when those bylaws expire, that's it. That's the end of the bylaw.
Okay,
So it does not have to, you don't necessarily have to repeal it with the replacement of a new bylaw.
okay, but, that's not what I was asking and what I misunderstood then. Because what I understood, we were renewing because we have to renew every year. I asked which bylaw we were, renewing, and I was told to go back around this time last year and I would find it. So I did. The way that the bylaw last year is written is different than this year. So I guess at this point, my question is, what is the expiry date of that bylaw that we passed last year? It was the March, I'm pretty sure that it was the March 8th meeting.
No, she's looking for the actual bylaw.
Yeah, it was.
But this is the same bylaw that we actually renew every year on our line of credit because we have to do it on a yearly basis. You can't just run it
Yes, you're right.
concurrently.
And if you refer back to the March 8th meeting, that we were told this one is renewing, it is written differently and it indicates what bylaw is being replaced, renewed from the previous year. So if this bylaw, this one expires when?
The 31st.
31st of next year? Yeah. I would assume that the previous bylaw doesn't expire until 31st of.
Actually, this bylaw actually was bylaw ALT 1-23, and it has a bylaw shall expire March 31st, 2024, and it does not have a repeal clause in it. And so it is,
Are you sure?
I didn't go through and read it absolutely or read it verbatim, but if we could, because this one was.
No,
actually-
I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about the report to council. The report to council that was included is written differently. It says that we are,
I understand if I can, Mayor Deck, members of council, when we're getting into, into semantics in relation to somebody in a bylaw saying we're replacing versus renewing, or we have to update, I certainly can understand where, somebody would kind of take that, one way versus the other, but the difference is in bringing it forward, it was a matter that we had to do in that regard. And so with that, Mayor Deck, is that really the direction was for that.
Mr. Mayor, I was told that I could find the bylaw that we are being asked to vote on a year ago. I asked very simply, what is the bylaw that this is renewing?
He just told you.
No, it wasn't actually. If I may take a moment, if you would like, it's the report to council information that indicates.
So are you saying there's a mistake in the report to council, is what I'm asking?
I just want to know what bylaw from last year this is renewing.
Ten-minute recess for administration to get the proper paperwork.
Amber, just in relation to you're talking about, the cover report.
Pardon me?
You're talking in relation to the report that was the cover report that was provided to you, correct?
Well, it usually when we repeal and we renew,
But because they had it passed,
It's identified on this, whether it's a renewal.
well, no, I'm not challenging it. I just want to, what, we're being told this is renewing. What is this renewing?
Where do you want to live, my friend?
That's it. Because the